Current crop that have offered themselves for the Nini would do much better. I think somebody like Tim.
I'm told he did a good job in Westland.
Yes, he did a good job in Westlands. He's a quiet guy. And then
We don't have the problem of celebs. You know, very few celebs are running there.
yes,
Yeah, as opposed to Nairobi. You see, but of course, and then of course when you learn from experience, most of the celebs actually never deliver. Because the moment you give them the tickets,
Yes.
they just relax. And they are actually not politicians.
they are not politicians.
Yes. So when going back to Nyanza, you find that in Kisumu, that is your county, I think.
Yes, I come from Kisumu.
Yes,
I
and
come
a
from
lot of
Kisumu,
work has
place
been
called
done in the
Kajulu.
CBD,
Yes,
the
yes.
city,
Yes, yes.
under the. Welcome to Real Life and Politics today. We are honored to be hosted again by the Nation Circle launch. We are continuing the discussion, the dialogue, to make Kenyans understand what is happening ahead of elections. Today we are honored to have Mr. Otieno Otieno, who will explain to us a lot. We are discussing city politics, Nairobi politics. Welcome, Mr. Otieno.
Thank you very much.
Now, we have a situation where we have MPs in Nairobi. I think we have about 17 MPs,
17 elected MPs.
elected MPs in Nairobi, and some are nominated. And what happens is that most of the MPs, once they are elected, even never visit their, actually don't even pay a lot of attention to their constituencies. And most don't even live in the constituencies where they are elected. How do you see this situation?
You're very right, Henry. Actually, in Nairobi, there's only one MP who is known to live in his constituency. The problem with that is that a majority of them then are out of touch with what is happening in their constituencies. So they spend time in parliament or in the CBD. The physical detachment from their constituencies then makes it difficult for them to understand the problems in their constituencies and the problems of the people who elected them.
That's very true.
Yes.
In fact, I did a survey and I found there are some parts of Nairobi that look worse than my village even. In particular, there is a place called Kawangware and Riruta. The roads there are horrible, you know. If you look at some of the roads, we can even use the pictures, they are horrible. And then you find there is place is very crowded, and the roads are very tiny. There have been a lot of efforts even to fix roads like in Isli here. I mean, the Isli, if you lived in Isli in the early 80s, 81, 82, if you go there and you can't believe your eyes, it's totally changed. But the same old Riruta which was there is still there.
Still there.
Yeah. Why do you think this happens?
We are having a leadership crisis. People who are not taking their representation role, their oversight role, and their legislative role seriously. Because with the introduction of devolution from 2013, right? It's quite a bit of resources that are now devolved to the counties, all right? There are quite a bit of resources that also devolve through the constituency development funds. So these resources are not being spent wisely. These resources, there's also a lot of corruption. The other problem is there's the city government, the city county government doesn't look at the city as a whole. All right. So you find them concentrating development, a lot of the development
CBD.
in the CBD, forgetting a lot of other areas. Of course, you know that 60% of the population of the city lives in the slum. So that is where the problem is, and that's where the resources should go. Yes.
Because I don't think they should complain a lot about the resources, because the Nairobi county government, the budget is about almost 40 billion.
Yes.
And then we have the NMS, Nairobi Metropolitan Services,
Yes.
whatever. And the budget is about 27 billion.
7 billion.
And then at the same time, there's a lot of work done in the CBD.
There's a lot of work.
Yeah. But just go around
Yes.
the city, you are shocked.
And NMS has done quite a bit of work at the CBD, including paving roads and the beautification. I know the CBD
yes.
looks quite beautiful. Yes, but it should now. Unfortunately, I think its term is ending. So the challenge is on city, on the city county government to take resources outside the CBD, because that's where much of the problem is. Yes.
Now we are facing an election, and what happens in Nairobi is that there is what we call opportunistic politics. You find somebody just presents himself as a candidate, maybe senator, governor, MP, woman rep, just banking on the tribal arithmetics that they'll take advantage of. And most times these people, even if you check the agenda, it's hardly there. If you ask him, you want to be a senator, what do you want to do? Hardly anything. All they want is to just take the seat. You ask him, you want to be an MP in your area. Do you even know how many schools are there? They don't care, you see. So the city is like, Nairobians have been left to be like they're abandoned. Yes, you see.
Yes, yeah, you are very right. Of course, the opportunistic politics defines our politics. I think it's a national problem. If you even go outside the city, you'd see the same pattern. But I think there are underlying reasons. One being the weaknesses of the political parties, the way we organize our politics. You know, for someone to contest an elective seat in the city, he has to be sponsored. He or she must to be sponsored by a political party.
Yes.
Of course, there is the opportunities for people to run as independent candidates as well, but that's not the norm. Most people are sponsored by political parties. So what vetting mechanisms are the political parties putting in place to ensure that they give the mwananchi
in the city
the right leaders? Yes. So I think there is a weakness there. Of course, the other vetting through the IEBC, we have people with integrity issues going through. So there's a weakness in the IEBC vetting system now. And a bigger challenge is even with the voters themselves. We are not demanding enough of the leaders, or the people who present themselves. So we are not asking them, what will you do for us? We make our decision based on our ethnic
Yes, you're right,
affiliations,
yes.
our political party affiliations.
Mm.
So we therefore should take some part of the responsibility, the blame.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I took a look at Kawangware, and one of the worst road there is called Muthiora Road. And another one, I think it's in a place called Muslim area. And the MP there, actually, Simbarati, is now moved to contest in Kisii as a governor.
Yes.
Yes, and then there's a new person who wants to come in. Is it Beatrice Elachi? Yes, and you'll find that most of these people actually don't care about the area.
They don't care about the area.
They don't care about the area. They don't live there. If you tell him about her or him or her about that road, they don't care.
Yes.
Yes. You see?
That's why Nairobi voters.
Yes.
Voters in Kawangware.
Yes.
Should take this opportunity to participate in this election very seriously, because they don't have, they won't have another opportunity for another 5 years. This is the time to ask whoever is offering himself or herself for the position of MP to represent them. What are you going to do about this Muthiora Road? Right?
Or this Muslim area.
Or in this Muslim area. What are you need? It's high time voters started relating their decisions with services.
Yes.
Right? And de-emphasize ethnic affiliations.
Yes.
Party affiliations.
Yeah.
Party is okay, but can you also ask the parties to give you their manifesto?
Yeah.
What is in this election for me, not for the party, or the person from my tribe. Yes.
In fact, Otieno, you must have walked around in Nairobi and you have seen the shoes that hang on the electricity lines.
Yes.
And I'm told that means that those are people have been shot dead by the police. And if you go to the slums, especially in Kawangware, you'll find there are a lot of shoes up there. You may not even be able to count them. That tells you the poverty level, especially in 46.
What is that Kawangware?
Yeah, that's Kawangware.
Yes.
The poverty level is very high. And these people is like, this is a place where you'll even find some these church people who beat drums, where they have the freedom of worship.
Yes.
But I mean, that tells you that those people are living in another world, you see.
There's a relationship.
And within Nairobi, actually.
There's a relationship between the passion for, unfortunately I have to say that, the passion for religion and poverty. There is some element of desperation. So people are looking, have chosen to look to God.
Because their life is so bad.
Their life is so bad because the system has failed them. All right. You talk about Kawangware, talk about the Kibiras, talk about the Kawangwachas. I mean, they're all sides of poverty. It's the kind of poverty that you see. You see people living in shanties. You see people going hungry. You see kids going to school in tattered uniform. So the system is not working for a majority of the city residents.
We are talking of Nairobi, we are not talking of Ogenya or Lego.
Yes.
Yes.
You're not talking about some rural, it's Nairobi. Yes. So the level of urban poverty is so high. I think we are lucky in this country that we are not had a revolution.
Yes.
Because that's very dangerous. We are having a situation where middle class live side by side, you know, and you know, and the low income, the poor in the slum, that poor. You know, what we have in the Korogochos and the Kibiras is extreme poverty. It's not just poverty. Yes. Fortunately, there's been some conversation around it, especially after COVID. You remember who has been talking about it a bit. So, like at the height of COVID, the government came up with that cash transfer program to the social protection. But it's not sustainable, right? It's not sustainable because there's only so much that the government can get to give any.
Yes.
How to fix this thing is job creation.
Job creation, yes.
Yes, the government, the current one or the one that is coming, the biggest challenge it has is to create
jobs.
And
not handouts.
Not handouts.
Yeah. Right.
Social protection is good.
Yeah.
But you can't have a country where 70% of the population needs social protection.
Yes.
You have to fix it through job creation.
Yeah, that's a very high rate. In fact, you mentioned Kibera and so on.
Yes.
There have been a lot of attempts to actually improve Kibera area. There is even a road that passes through there. And now we have the situation whereby, let's assume you are on Ngong Road, you live on Ngong Road, and you are coming from your home in Nakuru or Western Kenya. When you reach Kabete, there is a road that goes through there. It will pass through Riruta. If you dare take it, my friend, you will regret throughout your life because you are going to meet a major jam. This is called the Old Naivasha Road. It has never been expanded. And you know, this road is like Outer Ring Road for Eastlands.
That's a big road.
And yes, a big road.
Key road.
It's a key road.
Yeah.
And you know, you find that they'll tell you, we told people to move their things from the road. They have refused because there is no representation. And then when you ask them, they'll tell you this area is represented by KJ and also Simbarati. You see? In Nairobi, it's a total chaos place, you know? Yeah.
That's a very unique case of a place where nobody wants to take responsibility.
Yes,
I would just be curious to know who these people voted for.
Yes, and they have never seen the guy even.
Now, when it comes to responsibility,
yes,
nobody wants to take it.
Yes.
But when it comes to this is the time for those guys to address that in now.
And we also need to address the issue of, in Nairobi, we have another case of government departments passing the buck. If you find a bad road, you ask NMS, City Hall, they'll tell you that is NMS. NMS will tell you that is Kura, Kenya Urban Roads Authority. And so then somebody tells you that's national government.
National government.
Yes, I mean it's a place of passing the buck. You know?
I think that is created by the duplication of roles. Yeah. Maybe we need to relook those roles. Parliament needs to relook.
And there was a talk about
the roads,
giving the roads to the counties. I think one of the candidates talked about that.
Yes, Raila has been talking about it quite a bit. You remember he was the Minister of Roads at one point.
Yeah.
And Kura, there's Kura for the urban roads.
Yes.
There is what for the rural roads? Is it Kera?
Yes, whatever.
Yes. So these agencies were actually set up when he was Minister for Roads. So the idea was to have then institutions that could expand the road networks to certain parts of urban areas and rural areas. But he says that these roads, with the devolution, all right, these roads should now go to the county governments. You know, there are a number of roads, some classes of roads that are now devolved, right?
Yes.
But this also mirrors the big problem with the devolution, where people say that functions were devolved, but the money, much of the money, has remained in Nairobi with the national government. So I think probably Raila has a point, because Kura, Kera, they're keeping quite a bit of resources that then these county governments would use to do those kinds of work. It's true that county governments have serious challenges. Yes. You know, remember the idea of devolution was to leave the national government or much of the policy, not the execution of projects.
Now we need to turn to Nyanza politics.
Yes.
We have the Siaya, where I think for the last 2 elections, the governor was challenged in court. This county, I think, is among the least performing counties in Kenya. If you go to nearby counties like Kakamega, you'll be shocked if you are in the same country where Siaya belongs. If you go to Busia, Busia, you find that some urban centers like Funyula, Bomala, those are small markets. They already have tarmac roads, you know. So I think in Busia, I think the biggest problem is they didn't fix the main road going through Busia because it's too crowded. But I think in Siaya, hardly anything has happened.
Which is quite unfortunate, because Siaya, I think it boasts, the largest concentration of professionals.
Yes.
Think in the country. You know,
and that's the home of the Jacob also.
It's the home of Raila Odinga, the home of the Orengos.
Yes.
You talk about any top person in a profession, you're likely to, it is someone
even
from
Tuju comes from there.
Yeah, leave alone. Even the talk about professionals. Law. Mutunga, when he was Chief Justice, he pointed out but the fact that Siaya,
really Mutunga,
yes, produced probably the largest number of top lawyers, even judges. Okay, so Siaya has such a large leadership pool to choose for. Now, ironically, it doesn't have to be in very good hands, in terms of governance, all right. But I think it's a leadership problem. Rasanga, of course, cited the fact that it was
Governor Rasanga.
Governor Rasanga, that the fact that his election was challenged.
Twice. Is it twice or once?
Wasted his time.
Yes.
But I think that is an excuse. A county government asks the systems to run, even when the governor.
Once you are sworn in as governor, you should be able to run.
So that means probably didn't put good systems to run. But the problem in Siaya also reflects the problem in the larger, what we call Luo Nyanza, the Luo Nyanza counties. And the dominance of ODM, in some respect, it's not worked very well for the politics there. It has made elections less competitive, so that when you get the ODM
nomination.
nomination.
Yes. The tickets.
Yes.
Yes.
So a lot of, if you look at a lot of MPs, governors, senators, I'm talking about this. I'm passionate about this because, of course, you know, I have roots there.
Yeah.
So you end up with leaders who are not accountable to the people. You end up with leaders who feel that they are accountable
To the party
to the party
Yes.
or the party leader.
Yeah.
So that all you need to go do is get the certificate. So
And once you get it,
once you
just
get
relax.
it, yeah,
go
you
for a
can
party.
relax. Even if you don't deliver,
Yes.
you know that next time
Yes.
you can do a few things,
Yes.
get the party nomination,
Yes.
and go on. All right. So if Kenya, Central Kenya, elections there are very competitive.
Yes.
Very competitive, and getting the certificate of a popular party isn't enough. You have to tell those guys what you'll do for them. Yes. You really have to prove yourself.
You know, in Nyanza, we don't have the problem of celebs. You know, very few celebs are running there.
Yes.
Yeah, as opposed to Nairobi. You see, but of course, and then of course, when you learn from experience, most of the celebs actually never deliver. Because the moment you give them the tickets, they just relax. And they are actually not politicians.
They are not politicians.
Yes. So when going back to Nyanza, you find that in Kisumu, that is your county, I think.
Yes, yes, I come from Kisumu.
Yes, and a lot of work has been done in the CBD, the city.
Yes, yes.
Under the Tichtire.
Oh, the Tichtire
narrative.
Yes, yes.
Now, how do you see that?
It's true, quite somewhat. Kisumu looks, Kisumu city looks very beautiful. I think on social media, they popularly refer to it as Europe.
Yes.
They floss a bit.
UK.
Yes. And then I've also seen a lot of people from outside the country whenever they go. There are very nice things to say about Kisumu. Unfortunately, I don't have the same view of Kisumu.
The same rosy view.
I don't share that rosy view. In fact, the fact that the town is very good for me because I come from, my rural home is just 14 kilometers. I can walk to town. All right.
In Kajulu.
Yes. So there's a tendency to romanticize Kisumu. But Kisumu is a one city street. So if you land at the airport and drive 5 minutes to the city, street. Yeah, you're going to see very nice things. Yeah. But that is not what Kisumu is. Kisumu is a much bigger place. Kisumu has 5 counties. Kisumu West, Kisumu East, where I come from, Moroni, Nyakach, Nyando, Seme. Actually, there are 6. There are 6 counties. All right. So, I think the county government of Kisumu, under Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, should be judged on what it does in all these 6 counties, not just the town, not just the CBD. I think we are judging him on very low standards. Very low standards.
On one street, just on one street that has been fixed.
Yes, I think it's the easier route. It's probably done some things, but we don't hear so much about it. But if he was doing very well, we would have known. And then Kisumu and other Nyanza counties like Migori, Siaya, have some very unique challenges, especially with the health. And of course, you know, health is a devolved function. For me, the number one priority for the Kisumu governor, Siaya governor, Migori governor, Homa Bay governor, should be able to fix public health. Right? Get the hospitals working, the dispensaries and the grasses working. Because you are aware that Kisumu, for example, health workers are permanently on strike. I think they are more.
Kisumu, yes.
Kisumu.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? That means that patients rarely get services in Kisumu. Right? And these countries also have the highest disease burden in the country. Talk about
Malaria.
any of the top killers: malaria, HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis. On the rankings, those official statistics, they're always high up there. That's one thing that the country government should address. And then agriculture. Kisumu imports almost all its food, right? The country government.
Why is it that Kisumu people, they don't farm at all, or what?
Actually, Kisumu, it's not true. It's not true that they need it, because of course, you know, Kisumu, there's quite a bit of rice growing.
Yes, in Kano.
In Kano. That's, I think, talk about all those irrigation, the West Kano, West Kano irrigation scheme. There is an area called Kabonyo towards the lake, and then in Ahero irrigation scheme. So there is a bit of farming. There is a bit of farming in Moroni area, sugarcane. Yeah, but you know the problems with the sugarcane farming in Kisumu. For example, the factories are not working well. Farmers always complain about non-payment. You know, they have difficulties transporting their sugarcane to the factories. These are the problems for me that a serious governor, a serious country government should address in Kisumu. Not just making the town look beautiful. That is the work of a city mayor. Professor Nyong'o is not the city mayor of Kisumu. He's the governor of Kisumu County.
Yes. That has so many areas.
So many areas, so many challenges. Right? Cutting access roads so that farmers and traders can get their need to the market. Yes. So I think it's probably done well, but that work is too romanticized for me. Yes.
If we may come back to the city,
yes.
We have a situation whereby actually right now the governor of Nairobi just came in, and now we have to elect another governor, and then we need a new senator and so on, or this other senator that's there wants to run for governor. How do you see these candidates? You have the one running for governors. Yeah,
governor. I think you have Ngatia.
Ngatia, yes.
There's Ngatia. There's Sakaja.
Yes.
There is Tim Wanyonyi.
Yes.
Who else wants to be governor?
Wanjiru.
Oh, Wanjiru.
Yes.
Yes. I think we have some very good people offering themselves. Some of those Nini look very good. Especially if you compare them to what we've had in the past. Who did we have in the past? Sonko.
Sonko, yes.
Mike Sonko. This populist guy. Flamboyant, bling. Yeah, so if you are coming from that, I think a lot of these candidates are an upgrade on Sonko. You look at Tim Wanyonyi. Tim Wanyonyi
But would there be an upgrade on Kidero, really, the first governor of Nairobi?
Probably they are at the same level. Kidero, there was a lot of hope in Kidero. But he disappointed me personally because I thought with his profile, his education, his private sector background, it's a guy who had managed
big companies, blue chip companies.
Successfully, right?
Yes.
So the expectations were quite high by him, and fortunately, I don't think he lived up to the expectations, and especially the fact that there were a lot of integrity issues that were raised about him. Of course, you're aware in court, and of course, that is part of the leadership problem. You talk about celebs, okay? Celebs and these populist leaders that are being elected, especially by the slum people. I think there's a rebellion. There's a rebellion against
the system.
Against the system and the elites.
Yes.
You blame these guys, you say they are not competent, right? They're not up to the job. But then you put somebody you think is up to the job, and he ends up not performing much better, right? So you'd really hope that the current crop that have offered themselves for the Nini would do much better. I think somebody like Tim.
I'm told he did a good job in Westlands.
Yes, he did a good job in Westlands. He's a quiet guy. And then he's living in the disability. So maybe the challenges he has, as a disabled person, reflects the challenges of
the city.
Every other person, they are normal needs. So probably that's why he did well. He knows that you have to do these things. We have these challenges. These guys have challenges. Yeah. Sakaja is a young leader. Who
he's also running for governor, actually.
Yes, running for governor. Sober in when he was coming through the TNA, he led a party. Ngatia
he's accused of this,
from private sector, but
Kemsa.
Yes, he was in Kemsa, so there are some questions there over him, but and unfortunately, voters don't seem to
don't care about.
They don't care. That's why I was talking about. I think in the past, I talked about political parties, the role of political parties.
Once you get the ticket,
inventing some of these things. Why if you have somebody as question mark, but interesting is doing very well in the campaigns. You won't be surprised if he ends up being the governor with all those questions.
And then we have the senator. I think among the top candidates is Sifuna of ODM. Yeah, and then we also have a large number of celebs running in Nairobi. We have Jalas, we have Rafton.
Yes.
And others, you see.
Yes. The entry of celebs in politics is an exciting one. One, of course, is they are very popular, especially with young people.
Yes.
I think in their songs they seem to address some of these things.
Or their jokes.
Their jokes, people.
The comedians, yes.
The comedians,
Yes.
So it's a mixed bag. I don't know whether there are some who do well. Of course, it's an international trend. There's a rise of populism in almost all.
Even like Trump was just a celeb.
Trump
actually.
was just a celeb.
Yes,
The
and he
apprentice.
became president, yes.
Yes, Trump became president.
Yeah.
The president of Pakistan,
Yes,
Imran Khan,
is
was a
just
cricketer.
celeb, yes.
You know, still.
Yes.
Yeah, so is
even the president of Ukraine, I think, is a former actor or
comedian.
somebody.
Yeah,
comedian.
Zelensky was a comedian. So it's a global trend.
Yes.
I think is a reaction to some weaknesses in the systems.
Yeah.
Systems at times, the political systems don't work for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why they elected Trump. That's why Trump was elected after
Yes.
Obama. Because
and then they realized the mistake, just like Nairobi
they realized the mistake after Sonko. You know, I supported Sonko.
Yes.
I even wrote in my column when Sonko first became Makadara.
That's why I wanted you to comment on the celebs, because I know you are very keen on the celebs.
Yes, I'm very keen on it. I thought that these people reflect or understand the need of their people. You know,
the problems
of their people. Actually, when Sonko was elected, he was one of the few leaders who was living in Islands.
Yes.
He used to live in Buruburu.
Yes.
Right? And he owned matatus. So you know how big an employer the matatu business is in this country. So I thought he understood any.
And he did a lot of projects there.
He did a lot of projects.
Is it Nyanza Road?
Yes.
That was done by Sonko?
Yes.
Even this road that runs from Buruburu down all the way to, is it Nazareth? What's it called? Nazareth?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Down there.
Yes.
Near the...
Yes, so he started well. He started well. But then he got into these dramas and all that. So I wouldn't have a problem with celebs winning these seats. In fact, I think somebody like Jalango is very strong in Langat, I'm told. Yes. The challenge for the celebs is the transformation. From a celeb to a leader.
Yes.
Yeah, they have to.
Those are two different worlds.
They are two different worlds. They are two different. Actually, KJ is also a comedian, right?
Yes.
KJ was also a comedian.
Yes.
So the challenge is from I don't have a problem with celebs winning these seats if they are if they qualify. Of course, there are those standards. Even academic qualifications. All this. If they qualify. They should be given a chance to me. The problem is that they have to make the transformation into leadership. Yes. Yeah. Actually, there's a unique thing about outside Nairobi in Mount Kenya. In Mount Kenya, almost every vernacular radio presenter is getting into politics.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not unique to Nairobi. Yeah, they communicate.
Even in Kiambu, I think.
Yeah. Wow, you remember Gadhoni wa Mushomba is the current MP. Yes. But this election, a lot more of them are going into politics. But then that is a challenge to our political system. It means it's not working. The people we think are much more competent. There are some questions, Mark. 190 are asking questions about them. They're saying, "Oh, you say you are this educated. You said you are this competent, but you are not doing this for us. So we'll look for it from the celebs." Yes,
I think that's fine. Thank you very much. We have had a good discussion. We are also very thankful for the Nation Circle launch. And we hope to do it again as the elections near. Anytime.
Yes,
thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah.